let's just focus on modern cards today and ignore wild cards. So wild cards will include alpha, beta, promo, and then all of the old reward cards. And then the new cards will basically be Reward, Untamed, Dice, Chaos Legion, and then eventually Chaos Legion's junior pack, which will be called Rift Watches. So let's just look at fire cards for today. So once again, with the fire deck, if we look at that, we're only going to focus on the melee Tarsa because we just want that +1 melee damage because it's the better version of the Malric, and then we're going to get that extra 1 HP for the extra mana that we spend. So if you were to start a fire deck right now, you would have a Tarsa, you would have all of the common and rare cards in Untamed and Chaos Legion. So this is what your deck would be looking like. And if you're a new person, you're not going to go for levels. I always advise you to branch out and get epics and legendaries, but then also focus on getting some of the reward cards and dice cards that are commons and rares. So let's do that first. If we just look at the commons and rares for the rewards and dice, this will just be so that we can see what cards we're missing. And then also it keeps it really simple because I can also just break it down to you. So when you look at these quickly, you can see that the older, more solid backgrounds, which are red, so these are all the old reward cards from the first set, which is Alpha and Beta. So Exploding Dwarf, Beetle Queen, Naga Fire Witch, Flame Imp, and the Etienne Spearman, you don't have to buy if you're going to just play Modern. So when you look at these cards, you've got the Dice Summoner, which is Quid. We've got a Magic Elder. We have a Finished Rage. We got a Flame Monkey, a Flame Smith, and then we got the Heatsmith, the Exploding Rats, Antminers, Minotaur, and that's basically it. So of the reward cards and the dice cards, for just commons and rares, I always recommend a Finished Rage. It's $4. It's a bit expensive, but it's worth it. This card is far better than any other position 2 that has reach. The thing that comes the closest would be a Radiated Brute, but the main difference is the speed. So the speed and the extra HP you get makes a Finished Rage way, way better. But you should also keep the Radiated Brute in case you ever get reverse speed, and then you can play certain cards. So in terms of, let's just say we had to pick 5 very important cards to upgrade your deck, Finished Rage has to be in that list. So we're going to add a Finished Rage to our basket. It has to be there. I use this card so much that it just justifies itself. So the other cards, a Flamesmith is okay. I don't use it nearly as much as I should. Purely because for 7 mana, there's much better cards to use. Plus, when I play archers, I mainly play archers with a Jotun. And if you're going to play explosive archers, you always want Snipe, or I think the next new ability is called Scattershot. But you don't like, a Flamesmith is good, but you'd rather have anything else that has Snipe, basically. The Elder is good, but I would rather put in a Finished Rage, and also he doesn't go well with our strategy because we're going to go +1 melee, +1 fire, so we're sticking with the Finished Rage. The only other thing that I would say is worth looking at is maybe the Flame Monkey. And this is basically just, it's $1 for the card, so it might be a bit expensive. It's really good at level 5 because it gives you repair. But basically what this card does is it will be a filler card to basically take an extra hit when you have 1 extra mana to spend in Modern Standards. That is if you don't own some of the other cards. So now that we've looked at all the commons and rares, we can then look at all of the modern, let's just do epics now. So if we go to Reward, Untamed, Dice, and Chaos, these are the epics. So these are the next set of cards that you don't own. And of these, the only ones that you don't have to worry about is this Imp Bowman. So the Imp Bowman, that's going to go to wild, so you don't have to buy one if you don't want one. You can focus on the other cards. So of these other cards, I quite like the lava launcher. I think it's a really cool position too, but I still much rather prefer having the Fitness Rage, especially with our strategy. But lava launcher is not too bad. It's got really bad HP, but really good damage, really good armor. And eventually, if you're playing in Gold League and above, you can get it to have stun. If not, you can push it to get 4 damage. So I'm going to buy one, but I'll put it as a maybe. Actually, no. I think if you've only got 5, I can't focus on that. Forgotten one, really cool, actually. Like, I quite like him. There are some tanks that I prefer above him, but honestly, I've been using him more and more, and he's a lot of fun. Tusk of the Wide, I haven't been using enough. I know that he gets Inspire in Gold League and above, which would then make him much better. But there's just better tanks in my opinion, especially tanks that have very low speed. There's already Living Lava, and there's already a Grum. So I don't like Tusk of the Wide. I would rather get a Forgotten one for the immunity, and then eventually you can get Retaliate. So actually, I'm going to pick one up, but I might swap it out later. So I'll pick one up and put it in the basket. The other cards, Goblin Fire Mage, really good, but not good enough to spend $6 if you're just building your deck. I would rather break that $6 into a Forgotten one, a Lava Launcher, pick up some of the newer ones, just because that $6.3, it's good, but you really want to get a level 2, because at level 2 you get 1 extra magic damage, which is like the most important upgrades you can get on cards. And then also, Dispel is cool, but I don't think Dispel fixes Bloodlust yet, and that, or Blood Rage, and that upsets me, because I really think Dispel should destroy Grum, and then a Goblin Fire Mage would become a lot better. Pyromancer is low-key sleeper. If you don't own a Jotun and you need something to be a backline archer plug, why wouldn't you get Blast? Blast is always so good, so I highly recommend it, and I'm going to pick one up in terms of the epics. Pyromaniac, cool card. You need it to get to level 5 to get Blast. Obviously you can use it with the Jotun. The General, also really good card, clearly better than the Pyromaniac, just based on price, but the main difference is you can get the Inspire, which is very cool for combining it with other cards, especially with our melee strategy, but we're not going to go for a gold level deck, because obviously we're just starting off and we're going into wild, so I wouldn't focus on the Flexi General. I quite like the Forgotten one, I quite like the Pyromancer, I quite like the Lava Launcher, so I'll add it to our list. And then let's move on to legendaries. So when looking at legendaries, you guys haven't set me a budget, and from the guide, like honestly it depends on your budget. Jotun's a really cool card, but no one wants to spend $600 on a card if you're just starting this game off. You're going to be spending $600, and I recommend you buy a ton of cards instead of just one big card. Especially because $600 could easily get you into silver, plus you could have leveled summoners, plus you could have a decent deck in 2 or 3 splinters, instead of just having a Jotun. Jotun would be a luxury that you'll eventually work yourself and work your way towards, and that's perfectly okay. I highly recommend a Scorch Fiend. As I said from the video, if you can afford it, I mean, you should be able to afford a $6 card. Buy a Scorch Fiend. You can use this card all the time, especially when you first start and you're playing a lot of bronze. You're going to have very low 30 mana games, so you're going to use this card a lot. It's going to take all your snipes. It's going to do a lot of work for you. And then on top of that, I liked Magnor. I like Grum. I actually like Ajin, because obviously this will be a 1 mana, and then we'll buff it up to be a 2/2, which is a really good 1 mana card. When compared with Altasa, like when they combine together and they work together, it's a great card, but low-key we're going to use other cards more. Grum is super strong because he is the only card that is a non-gladiator card that has Bloodlust, so He is by far the best tank at the moment. And especially if you're in bronze, this guy will carry you and will be your main damage source. And you will basically have a 5 damage, 11 HP, 5 armor. And then every time he gets hit, he'll just get more HP, more speed, more HP, more armor. It's just insane how well he works. If you can get him an extra level, he then gets void, so he takes less magic damage, which is the meta in silver, where you'd then play him. So it's really good to like have that in mind. Like I said, always look at what the next level up would bring you and how it benefits you. But of these legendaries, like I said, I think these are the two most important ones. The rest are all luxuries. Don't like the Rising. I think this is really shit. So of these 7 cards, if I had to cut out 2, it honestly depends on your budget. But at the moment, we're looking at $30, and you'd have 2 really good tanks with the Forgotten One and Grum. Just to confirm, I think, no. Okay, so the main problem that you have at the moment is that you'll have the Forgotten One, and you would struggle to have an even tank, but that's a problem for later. But basically, we've got Grum as your main tank. If not, you've got the Forgotten One or Living Lava. You've got, for position 2, you've got a Lava Launcher and a Finis Rage. Great. You've got a Pyromancer for your backline archer. And then, if you have the luxury, you then have a Scorch Fiend and or a Flame Monkey to basically be your bait and take the extra stealth hits or opportunities or blast hits. So these are just your bait. So in the last video of what cards I'm holding and buying and what am I selling, that was 5 days ago. Sorry, it's been a bit late, but it's this 22nd today. I'll try and upload this by today, so at least it's better. But those of you who entered Poseidon are going to win. So there's 49 of you, and let's random it. Oh, still 49. Oh, start. Cool. Let's see who wins. Okay. In-game name, Eczema, Poseidon, Michael B. Congratulations, man. Enjoy your pack. Yep. And confirm. Cool. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye. So please like and subscribe and let me know in the comments what you want me to do next. And if you're a new player, please use the promo code and I'll happily send you the $0.5 back to you. It just lets me know that people are watching and using the promo, and I'm helping new players join the community. Also, if you find me on the Discord, just pop me a message. I'll happily delegate any of the new players some power.